Welcome back into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We are discussing the latest on the Micah Parsons front. Some notable contract updates coming in from both Adam Schefter and Tom Pelissero. Before we break down what both of those notable NFL reporters had to say, we are doing the Micah decision pool. You pick the date that Micah signs or gets traded, although it's by all accounts going to be a signing. You can always visit chatsports.com/Micah to see your potential entries. You can also Venmo me, gotta Venmo, I should say, not also, at What Going Downey, $5 to enter. We'll do a 50-50, split the pot for the winner. Take home already up to $20. All right, so these are the updates. Number one, Adam Schefter says a deal's coming soon. And I'm kind of paraphrasing. We'll go in depth on the actual reporting. Tom Pelissero saying, hey, maybe the length could end up being an issue here for Micah and the Cowboys. Let's begin with Schefter over at ESPN. Says there's been positive conversations throughout the offseason, so much that people believe a deal will get done for Micah Parsons at some point this summer. And when it does get done, it is expected to make him the highest paid defensive player in NFL history. It'll be a huge number. It should surpass Myles Garrett. It'll give Micah that distinction. And most people believe that deal will get done at some point here in the coming weeks. So, I wouldn't overreact to that. Although it is good to hear that a deal is going to come in the coming weeks, according to Adam Schefter. But remember, what is coming weeks? That's just the start of training camp. We're a couple weeks away. We're in the coming weeks before training camp gets going. And that's kind of like, once you didn't get the deal done in the recent weeks, deal's kind of always supposed to have been done around that time frame. Doesn't that make sense? Like, isn't that when the deal was long been supposed to be done? If not sooner would have been nice, but that's like the date we're trending towards. I think that's what we all want to happen. I think Micah wants it done before camp. I want it done before camp. I'm sure most of you want to have this done before training camp and not have it be a significant distraction again. I think the contract talks for Micah Parsons' deal are going a little bit better than CeeDee Lamb's, mostly because of the kind of like not secret anymore meeting between Micah and the Jones boys. And both sides know what the deal is going to look like. Both sides know it's going to roughly cost this amount of money. And that's why this whole thing is frustrating to me. Because it could, in fact, it should have been done already. It's for a massive record-setting contract, which can be challenging at times. I actually don't think this particular contract is that hard to get done. That's what bothers me, because you could have had it done months ago if you really tried hard, and I don't know if either side truly has. So predictions before day one of training camp, which is less than a month away. Will Micah Parsons get paid? Y for yes, N for no. It is the pinned comment on today's video, so go vote down there. Look, I think we have already hit this point, that the cost of the Micah Parsons contract extension has already gone up. To the point that I don't really know how much more it could go up, but still it could. We'll talk about that later on in today's show. Right now, the highest paid non-QB, you can toss out highest paid defender. I think highest paid non-QB is going to be the figure Micah surpasses here. That is Jamar Chase at $40.25 million per year. I would be hard-pressed to see Micah taking less than 40.5, which they've already had those discussions to get to that figure anyway. I am more curious what the guaranteed money looks like. And if you can get the 5-year deal, which we'll discuss here in a little bit, it normally means more average per year, more guaranteed money. Maybe not as much as some other deals for this particular one. I can see him getting $125 million guaranteed. Would that surprise anybody? I don't think so. Does he settle for less? That would actually be a win for the Cowboys. Not that it, I think, really matters that much, because at this point, with the type of player you're paying, you're already assuming he's going to be awesome for you, because he's been awesome for you. And this ability to wait and let Myles Garrett and Jamar Chase reset the market is why some players and agents actually can wait. They don't have to have the same level of urgency, because the price is only going to go up. And that is why it is the team's responsibility to overpay early and make everyone feel better about it. And then you feel better because when you beat others to the punch, you were highest paid, now you're third. That's always been a Cowboys issue. They are very rarely early on actual top-of-the-market deals. It might be early for, like, Lyle Collins, by giving a team-friendly deal. It's not actually top of the market, but when the top of the market guys want to get paid, Ezekiel Elliott, Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott again, CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, they're always late to pay. Now, the 4th of July is almost here, and you can still secure some Cowboys 4th of July gear. Chatsports.com/Cowboys4th. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. That's chatsports.com/Cowboys4th. Rep America's team on America's Day. Let's move to the Tom Pelissero report. He acknowledged the previous, Micah Parsons, Jones boys talks, but hinted kind of at length issues. And he said, quote, this is on an interview with on the Rich Eisen show, with Micah, my sense would be that it's not even about the money. The money is already in line. Does he want to be under contract all the way out until his mid-30s? Or does he want to get another bite at the apple at 29 or 30? That one should be able to get done. Now, look, Pelissero acknowledged, part of the reason why he said it's going to be able to get done, was the Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb deals that were not 5 years. They were 4-year deals. And that has been a sticking point in years past. And there's even been times where the Cowboys and the agent agree on the money and everything but the years, which means you actually don't agree on the years. If you're adding years to a deal, you should be adding money because of the way you're able to structure it and what the actual value of the contract looks like. And I think that's why Pelissero, like everyone else that knows what they're talking about, feels good the deal is going to get done, that they think it's just a matter of when, not if. We'll talk more about the years here, but how many years, not including the void years, that's cheating, will the Micah Parsons contract be? My prediction is 5, which we'll talk about here in a minute, but let me know in the comments of today's show. The Cowboys once benefited from 6, 7, the wild Tyron Smith contract years. Those days of the extensions being crazy long are dead. And I think Dallas has finally acknowledged this. Because those 6, 7, 8-year deals, whatever, the back end of those deals were insanely team-friendly. Like, they didn't have any guaranteed money. By that point, the market had exploded. You're, not even top 10 at your position. And that's why agents don't go for that anymore, because it's not valuable to their clients at this point. Because if they're good, they're going to get paid again. If they're not good, they're going to get cut at that point. So it doesn't help them. Dallas does love 5-year deals. That's what they've been trying to stick to here. Now, look, Micah Parsons is 26 years old. When I think Pelissero is referring to mid-30s, I think he means 6, 7-year deal. That's not going to happen. There's not going to be a 3-year deal. Lets him cash in again at 29, which he was thinking he was 25 or 26. The mid-30s, 7-year deal, it's not going to happen either. That's just not, it's not realistic. I would bet the agent would love a 4-year deal. That's what David Mulgett has done in the past. I think Micah himself is perfectly happy with 5 years. And that leaves big money and big guaranteed money and can get the $200 million price tag that nobody's hit, which would also be a bit of a win for the agent and Micah. More on what I think this contract ends up looking like. But we are in a sub-battle for the month of June. We've closed ground, but Ravens' rundown is still narrowly ahead. We're kind of middle of the pack, which we're bigger than everybody else. So we're kind of playing with a disadvantage there. Hit that sub button for more free Cowboys YouTube videos if you haven't already done so. I do think this contract gets done. And I think it's a record-setting deal for Micah Parsons. I think it is a massive contract that goes, wow, that's so much. But if you do it with urgency, it might not last that long. TJ Watt is now on the wrong side of 30, but he's essentially the same age and same conversation of Myles Garrett. And I think it's reasonable for Watt to ask for more than Garrett money. Or at least, if he waits after Micah, he might get more than Micah money. Aiden Hutchinson could be in a similar bucket. I wouldn't be shocked that happens next offseason, though. Hendrickson's not going to get that figure. He's not going to get the $40 million, but he's going to get paid too. I'm not worried much about Hendrickson. It's the Watt one I don't want to have get done before the Cowboys do the Micah deal. So what does this deal end up looking like? Haven't changed the numbers in ever on this front here since we started doing it, post-Myles Garrett deal. If you go 4 years, I think you're going to settle around the $40.5 million per year. That gets you the most, on that front there. I could see a scenario where the guaranteed money just maybe narrowly surpasses Myles Garrett. I will say if you go to 5 years, at that point, you could potentially exceed, in general, you add a year to a contract, you have to add about $2 million per year. That keeps it even from like a flow perspective of what that fifth year is actually worth on the current scale of the contract. The guaranteed money could get crazy. You could see maybe higher guarantees. The less average per year, you just barely get to that $200 million figure. Or I think it's like the range of the guaranteed money, but I would bet he's going to become the highest paid in everything. It's a matter of when that deal ends up happening.